Hey, how we doing, everybody? Welcome and good morning. We are back. Give me 1 second here. There. Yes. Yes. Good to see my tired self today. How we doing? Well, I'm doing all right, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm this tired. Right? Let me crack this fucking Red Bull. Demonetized. Okay. Let me tell you why I'm this tired. I put together the Infinity team late last night, and yeah, I was I was like really working this Infinity team for like 2 hours roughly, and it was a lot of stop and go, a lot of nope, that's not right. I'm dying. That can't be right. Uh, how can I mitigate this? What can I do for that? And I'm gonna tell you everything I learned about it. Sorry, just getting some dust off this thing here. I'm gonna tell you how I learned about, or what I learned about it. And I did record the champions with their gear sets and their masteries and everything before I disassembled them because I'm not doing it again, honestly. Because this is what I'm going to say. Plarium is definitely going to nerf something. Okay. It's probably going to be Brogni, and it's probably going to be the same thing they did to Emic, where they nerfed how much he can actually grow a shield. Okay. So if you're not familiar, let me just um let me just show you the whole champion setup here. Okay, so the champion setup is this, right? We're going to use Lanicus, two Yumikos, Lydia, Brogni, and then this guy, Corpulent Cadaver. Now, I've wanted to build a Corpulent Cadaver for a very long time. He is a very good rare for the thing that he does. The whole thing centers on his ability here. Crushing Mass. It says A1. There's no cooldown. It just does it. He attacks an enemy, and he'll inflict additional bonus damage if this champion is under a shield buff. The damage is equal to 30% of the buff of the shield. Okay? Think about that. If you can infinitely grow a shield and mitigate damage, how hard is this guy going to hit? Pretty fucking hard, is what the community found out because there is an infinity team that they use for clan boss that goes to turn limit, 1500 total turns. Okay? And then the community's like, I wonder if that works for Hydra. Guess what? It fucking does. Um, yeah, yeah. So, um, that's it. You use Brogni, you build him in damage to grow shields, okay? And then there is a bit of a caveat to it. There's a little catch, all right? And let me just pull my video up. I recorded at the very end. So let's just go over Lanicus here. So Lanicus, I found out really fast that you actually need Lanicus in a reflex set. Okay. Uh, I had solved the problem with Lydia that I had, and we'll talk about that when we get to her. But with Lanicus, she has to be fast. She has to be the fastest on the team. But you have to have her in a reflex set, and you have to have her with refresh accessories. Okay. So 323 speed. I have her with high resistance because I want her as my bait tank for mischief, and it didn't work out the way I planned. I even gave her a shield accessory. Okay. She's fully booked. I gave her intimidating presence. Just seemed appropriate. You could probably give her brimstone to be the same thing. Masteries, we have her going down here to War Master, and we have her on the counter attack setup. Okay. Yumiko, there's two Yumikos, obviously. You have a fast one and a slow one. My fast one's 315. She has high accuracy. She is my arena Yumiko, and she has a bit of resistance. Okay. When you use your Yumiko, you want her to start out this. Shout out Papa Rika. He helped me out with this. We talked yesterday. Have her open with her A2, and then she's going to prioritize her A3, and then have the slow Yumiko start with her A3, and then they'll start offsetting each other, and it should go into sync, and it did. After a couple tries, it did. Um, I just have her in the masteries where I bring her down for arena. Lydia. Okay, here's the thing about Lydia. Okay, you have two options. You can have her in a shield set or a hex set. I don't have any hex pieces. I have one good hex piece. That's it. I sold it for years because it was shit because nobody was keeping curse because you're like, well, I really don't think uh I'm gonna want health, healing block on this champ. It just didn't work. If it didn't work for Spider, nobody used it because Spider was the only boss that healed itself, right, at the time. And I agreed. Other than Fire Knight, but why? Why would you do that? With the new curse set where you put a hex out, 50% chance, it's a 4-piece set. It's amazing. It's amazing for Hydra, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason I fought with this entire setup for so long is because I couldn't target the hex head, the head of mischief. I needed to land a hex. So the fight would start out to where I would, open with A2 on the first Yumiko, and I'd try to, 25% chance to get it on that mischief head, and it just didn't work. Okay, and then you have to deal with, uh, you know, head of decay that cleanses. So you're like, oh, if I get it, I have to really start dealing a lot of damage. The damage gets better if you have a shield set or you have a bolster set. I'm going to tell you bolster instead because you cannot have the shield stolen from the bolster set. So if Corpulent Cadaver gets targeted for some reason, which he will sometimes, to get his shit stolen from the head of mischief, if he's in a bolster set or Brogni has grown his own shield enough and the head steals all of his buffs, he can't steal the shield because it's protected. Meaning Corpulent Cadaver still has his damage, and that's all you care about. That's all you care about. Um, yeah. So I put her in a shield set. She is, let's see, it goes Landicus, Yumiko, Lydia, Corpulent Cadaver, Brogni, right? It sounds like a weird setup because Corpulent Cadaver goes before Brogni, but hear me out. It does just fine. You could have Brogni go before Corpulent Cadaver to give him that extra damage boost early. That's definitely an option. It's very stat intensive, this entire setup, right? That reflex gear is that I took that off of my Valkyrie, and she's in my Fire Knight team. Okay, so just kind of a thought on that. Uh, Lydia 262 speed. And another thing that you're going to learn is you want everybody with over 350 resistance on hard, because you don't want the head of mischief to steal everything on its first try. It needs to work. Like the head of mischief has to work for its fucking bread. You know what I'm saying? So she's got good accuracy, good resistance, fast. She'll put up decreased defense and weaken, and then when Brogni goes and you open with his A2, the shield gets massive. Okay, it's actually pretty cool. And then yeah, Corpulent Cadaver, you just keep cycling it. You're like, all right, here we go, we're doing this. She's on Brimstone, and these masteries haven't changed in a long time. These are her PvE masteries. And then we have Brogni. So people were asking me this morning, how did I build Brogni? You build him with damage, okay? With Landicus, I forgot to mention you open with her A3 and then it's just A2 forever. Because Brogni you can build with 70% crit rate, 75, whatever, and then Landicus brings the increased crit rate buff, and then Brogni just goes to town. He's at 205 speed. If you get him to 2.5 to 3,000, attack, because that's how he grows his shield, that's good. Keep it there. He has a shit ton of crit damage, and he's going to be the target for whatever head of mischief, or I can't remember how the target works for that, but I'm sorry, to be eaten first. He's going to be the first to get targeted because he has the highest crit damage. Sorry. Uh, we have him on 305 accuracy, which is very nice. It works to where you can start knocking off like one random buff if nobody's protected by Poison Cloud, and 284 resistance. I really wish this was higher, but it is what it is. Excuse me. And I have him in a Savage, Cruel set, so he ignores more defense. Okay, and he is also in Brimstone. Masteries, same as they've always been for my Brogni, except I brought him to War Master instead of Giant Slayer because I don't use him in Clan Boss. Now here's a weird one. Yumiko number 2. I had to book her. I spent some money yesterday, and I needed to book her out, and I had to book Blanicus out, and thank God I got 10 legendary books out of that deal, and they landed exactly where they needed to go. All 10, like I was down to the last one, and it landed where it had to go. I was so happy. This Yumiko is needing to be the third fastest person on the team. I have her at 292 speed. Her resistance is pretty decent, 393. This does resist the head of mischief when it tries to steal. 301 accuracy is okay. You don't always land the hex on her, and that's another important thing we're going to talk about before I get done with this. Corpulent Cadaver, I have him on a retaliation set. Let's just kind of back it up. My two good retaliation pieces. Okay, he's in speed and retaliation. I just copied Paparita's stats and how he did it, and it worked out for me. Counterattack, accessory. I have him built with accuracy, around 270 accuracy. Why is that? Because he has a provoke that you're going to need to use on the head of Decay for a while, until you get a shield big enough to where you don't care, and the Corpulent Cadaver will just start one-shotting heads. It's fucking bananas. It's actually fun, but it stops being fun when you have to sit here all night and you're falling asleep in your chair and it's like 1 in the morning and you're getting this to work and you're like, I just like I was like, please just fail. And it actually ended up failing near the end. I think we got near turn count like 1296 and just bring Corpulent Cadaver down to counterattack masteries. Yeah, so around turn count 1296 it failed, and it failed because the Yumiko's got feared by the head of the Torment head of Torment. They got scared. This is my final damage here. 859 million from Corpulent Cadaver. Atlanticus did 9 million. Yumiko did 196 million. 215 million from the other Yumiko. Lydia did 29 million and Brogni did 107 million. Now you're asking me how that's possible. So the Yumiko's put out hexes. You utilize these to your advantage. What I found was when you put decreased defense in weaken, you also want to put hexes on all the other heads and all the other stumps, right? Makes sense? Because you do a percentage of the damage to the other stumps. There was a point to where Corpulent Cadaver was doing 10 million damage a hit and more just because of hex. He would do like 6 million to the main target, and then it would, do a percentage to the other heads that had a hex debuff on them. And it actually adds up. And that was like, around turn count 1000. So, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can tell you to help you out. I'm kind of bummed. See, I even did that. Fucking, I was like, I'm doing it. I'm fucking, I'm the clan leader for my clan. I'm the dude that I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna get us done, right? We're gonna win this Hydra clash. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna fucking do it, right? And then I finish, and then I noticed, uh, these guys had a guy doing it too, and he did way more damage. He has a +4 Brogni, but his Corpulent Cadaver did way more damage than mine did. And I'd be curious to see his stats. And he's the one that also did his shield set. I was like, oh, okay, so yeah. Yeah, so with Lydia, Hexer shield, and he did it on hard. Good for him. Good for him. I'm not seeing anybody else do it. Excuse me. I'm not seeing anybody else here do it either. Just standard teams. But yeah, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna bring the boys to glory. But those are my tips and tricks for this team. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm going to put up another video here in a bit. We're going to open some ancient shards. I have, probably should have over 80. So, alrighty. I love you. God bless, and goodbye.